One of the newer features in rooms is the ability to set the opacity of a thing. And the opacity is how opaque something is, or another way to think about it is the opposite of translucent. And so, if you have a high opacity, that means that it is very opaque or you cannot see through it. Whereas a lower number would mean that your opacity is low, which means you have high transparency, which means that you can see through that particular thing. The easiest way to adjust opacity for a thing is in the properties panel under style. And you will see that there is a slider here that has a maximum value of 1 or full opacity and a minimum value of 0, which is no opacity or full transparency. And you can adjust it to anywhere in between. Now, that's great for setting a thing's opacity to start, but you may want to change that in the event of something occurring in your room. And to do that, you need to use code. So we're going to click on the thing and select the code editor, and we're going to start from scratch. And in this instance, we'll do a function on click. And then what we want to do is, since the opacity is 1 to start, we want to set the opacity to be 0 on click. And so if we preview it and then we click on the ghost, we can see that the ghost now goes away. However, there's some important things to consider with opacity. When you set the opacity, you're not actually moving or hiding the object itself, you just can't see it. So in regard to collisions or clicks or something along those lines, it's important to realize that the ghost is still there, even though you cannot see it. And we can prove that by adding a count. Local count, we'll set it at 0, and then on click, what we want to do is we want to do count equals count plus 1, and then we want to say count. And what will happen here is when we preview it, we can see the ghost is here, and when we click on it, the ghost says 1. But as I continue to click where the ghost actually is, even though you can't see it, you can see that the numbers are still going up. So I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that opacity will visually make things seem as if they are not there, but the thing is still in that particular location. So just be careful if there are other events in your room that you need to take into account when making something